The autumn rain drummed against the floor-to-ceiling windows of Wellington Industries. A steady, rhythmic melody that filled the empty, silent corridors of the 42nd floor. Hazel Rivera tucked a stray strand of her chestnut brown hair behind her ear as she stared, with tired green eyes, at her computer screen. It was already past 8 o'clock in the evening. Most of her colleagues had long since headed home to the warm, comfortable embrace of their families and their weekend plans. As a marketing coordinator at one of the city's most prestigious and most demanding companies, Hazel had grown accustomed to these long, lonely nights. But tonight felt different. Tonight she couldn't shake the image of Henry Wellington, the company's enigmatic and impossibly handsome CEO, from her mind. In a moment of exhausted, giddy boldness, she would send a text message. A message that was never, ever meant for him to see. That one single, accidental message was about to change her entire life. If you believe in the magic of unexpected encounters and the idea that love can be found in the most surprising of places, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who loves a heart-touching story, and subscribe to our channel, Kindness Corner. She had caught only brief, stolen glimpses of him throughout the week. A passing encounter in the elevator, formal and very intimidating board meeting where she had been a silent note-taking observer. He was always impeccably dressed in his tailored, expensive suits, and he always maintained that cool, mysterious, and completely unapproachable aura that made every single employee in the building either fear him or secretly, and from a very safe distance, admire him. Hazel reached for her phone, mischievous and very tired smile playing on her lips. She was just going to text her best friend Maya, a simple, harmless, and very embarrassing confession. Her fingers, light and quick, danced across the screen as she typed out the words that had been swirling in her own very private fantasy world. She hit send, without double-checking the recipient, a small, fatal error in a night of exhausted and very wishful thinking. She then immediately buried her face in her hands, giggling at her own boldness. Maya would definitely have a field day with this confession. But her quiet, happy laughter died in her throat when her phone buzzed with an immediate response that made her blood run cold. The message was not from Maya. It was from a name she had only ever seen on official, company-wide memos. It was from Henry Wellington himself. With legs that felt like they were made of trembling, unset jello, Hazel made her way to the executive elevator. Each soft, carpeted step felt like she was walking toward her own, very public and very professional, execution. The elevator, which usually seemed so fast, so efficient, now seemed to take an eternity to ascend to the top floor, giving her plenty of time to imagine all the different and equally horrifying ways this could destroy her career. Would he fire her on the spot? Would he laugh in her face? Would he report her to HR for gross and very unprofessional misconduct? The executive floor was dimly lit, the plush, gray carpet swallowing the sound of her own frantic, terrified footsteps. Only a few of the corner offices still showed any signs of life. In Henry's office, the largest of them all, stood at the very end of the long, silent hallway, a beacon of both a desperate, foolish hope and a much more likely and very imminent doom. The heavy glass door was slightly ajar, a sliver of a warm, golden light spilling out into the cold, dark corridor. Hazel perched uncomfortably on the very edge of the expensive leather chair that was across from his desk, her own hands clasped so tightly in her lap that her knuckles were white. She opened her mouth to apologize, to explain, to beg for her job. But Henry, with a calm, almost gentle gesture, raised a hand to stop her. Hazel felt her entire world tilt on its axis. Henry stood up then and began to walk around his massive desk, his own movements fluid, easy, and confident. He stopped just a few feet away from her chair, close enough now that she could smell his subtle, clean, and very expensive cologne. Close enough that she could see the tiny, almost invisible flecks of silver in his brilliant blue eyes. She looked up at him in a new and very real amazement, completely and utterly surprised by the genuine and very unexpected warmth in his voice, This was not the cold, distant, and very intimidating CEO she had so foolishly and so secretly fantasized about. This was a man, a real and very human man, who seemed almost approachable. Henry's smile, which had been a small, almost imperceptible ghost, now became more pronounced. "Hazel," he said, "I make it a point to know every single employee in this company, but I pay a very special attention to the truly exceptional ones. Your marketing campaign for the Morrison account last month, it was brilliant. The way you turned their declining sales numbers into a powerful and very moving story of resilience and comeback. It was pure, unadulterated genius." Hazel felt a new and very different kind of flutter in her chest now. A flutter that had absolutely nothing to do with her earlier embarrassment, and everything, absolutely everything, to do with the way that Henry Wellington was now looking at her. As if she were, in that moment, the only person in the entire, vast, and very lonely world. "But what about the message?" she asked, her voice still a little shaky, still unable to fully believe that she wasn't in some kind of terrible career-ending trouble. Henry returned to his chair, but this time he didn't sit behind his massive, imposing desk. He sat in the chair beside it, the one that was closer to her. Small, but very significant, closing of the vast physical distance that had always been between them. He seemed more relaxed now, more human. The rain continued to fall outside, a soft, gentle rhythm against the glass, creating an intimate, quiet cocoon around them in the dimly lit and now very warm office. And Hazel, for the very first time, felt something shifting between them. Something real, something electric, and something absolutely and undeniably mutual. "I have a confession of my own to make," Henry said, his own voice now so quiet it was almost a whisper. "I've noticed you too, Hazel, for a very long time." As Henry helped her to her feet, she realized that sometimes the very best things in life happen when you least expect them, or most embarrassing and most mortifying. Professional mistake had just opened a door she had never even known was there. And she was ready, with all her heart, to step through it, with the man who had just revealed himself to be so much more than she had ever, in her wildest and most secret fantasies, imagined. The rain outside seemed to be celebrating with them. A soft, beautiful, and very romantic rhythm against the glass, and Hazel couldn't help but think that this was just the beginning of something magical. A love story that had started with an accidental message, but a love that would, she now knew, last for the rest of their lives. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who believes in the magic of unexpected love, and subscribe to our channel, Kindness Corner. These stories are here to remind us all that sometimes our biggest mistakes can lead to our most beautiful and most perfect beginnings. Thank you for watching.